Last video we created a project, and then inside the project we have a multiple task, and we can create a task inside the project. However, I found some other issues that we're gonna face on in the future when we build our users, and then we add the comments or chat functionality inside the task. So what we're gonna do now is to create a edit and delete, that we can destroy the task inside the project using the Hotwire. And then at the same time, we will arrange the form, which is, I think I made a mistake for that one, because in the form you can just create a new task, but we're gonna finalize everything, and then we can fully use the Hotwire without any stimulus.js for the meantime. Okay, so let's see how we're gonna do it in the view. So here we have a project, so we already built this one. So project one, for instance, so we already have this one. And once you go to inside the project, you have the project one, and then here inside the project you can build a task. So for instance, task one, and then here you can do on progress. So what I did is, or what we're gonna do is to create an edit and delete inside the functionality inside the project. So once you create a task in here, you can see we have a task one, then we can put a task two, and then we can say on progress, and then here you can edit. So let's say add updated, and then I will put say completed the task, and then I will say updated, and then we have the status completed. And also the same within here, now we can add with say edited, and then here we have still on progress, for instance, and then here inside the project we can delete also. So yeah, I think that was it. And what we're gonna do is to dive deep into the code, and so you can understand fully from the scratch how I build it. Okay, see you, and let's dig in. So here I'm gonna add a add task, which is the instance variable, and then I'll say here add project the task that build, and then here I'm gonna call inside the show, which is the project control project show of the view of the project. So here I'm gonna add a turbo frame, which is I will say turbo frame tag, and then I will say task, which is this is the same what we did in the project. Then we'll say do, and then here we can add a and then I will say here, because we are using add task, so I'm gonna call here add task, and then we were gonna call the form. So inside the form we must check. So this is what I made a mistake. So here instead of task new and instead of only add project, so what we're gonna do here, I will say hey instance variable add task, I will call the project also, so I don't need to put a hidden field, or we just gonna inherit the ID of the project inside the form. So it's easy to, how do you call it, to build or to create a task inside the project. So here instead of the task new, we're gonna add here the task, and then I think that was it for the form. And then in the show we're gonna add this, we're gonna change this one render at task. So instead of render at task, we're gonna call here at project, and then I will say here task, and then I will say here let's put order. Order, it means that you can order ascending or the last update or the first update. So we're gonna use the created at, and then we're gonna say descending, and then that's the order we're gonna have. So once I created a task, it goes to the top. And then now let's see how it is work on the UI, so we can see if there's an issue and we can solve the problem. Okay, here I'll say localhost, so I have one project in here. So here is the task. So let's say if I created now the task 2, and then I will say create the task, so it's still working. So you're gonna look in here, so we don't have any error or issue. And if you're gonna look on the logs, we are still using the turbo stream, and then it will stream here. So what happened is we created in the project controller the task that built that, which is this one. So if you're gonna go here, we can see the ID that inherit in here. So we have a project 6, and then we can use the task, which is we have a has many tasks, and the task is belong to the project. And then once we created, it goes here, which is it is streaming the task, the new task also, And then yeah, voila, this is the informations that we created. Now we're gonna create a edit in here in the to do, which is the edit button, and then on the edit button we can call again the form, and then from that we can update. Okay, so let's go now. And then here I think we are done on this one. I think this is working good. I think the form is working good also. So you can see here a task, project, and task. And then now we're gonna do here is to go to the task. So here we're gonna add here the edit. So we're gonna say to edit is, so we're gonna say to edit here that our edit project path will be a, let's look on the routes that we have. So we are unsure what is it, and Rails routes. I'll type Rails routes, and then G, so we can see the verb, and then task, so we can look on the specific path of the task, so we can target a specific task for the edit. So we're gonna look in here. So I think, yeah, this is the edit method, and then here we have a path, which is the edit project task. So I'm gonna copy paste this one and put in our code. So here, and then I'll include path, or you can use, I think you can use the URL. And then you can say here the task, which is, that is what we are calling. And then we will say the project. And then inside the project, we have another task also, which is, I think we're gonna use the DOM task. And then from here, we can edit the form. But however, we need to add in the task controller. So now we're gonna go to the task controller so we can call it correctly. So here I'm gonna create a method, which is, we're gonna call it edit, and then put and in here. And then I think I need to add also in here the edit, so we can add the edit. And then yeah, I think that was it for now. And yeah, I think we need to add also the update in here. And then here we're gonna use, hey, I'm gonna add the def update and then end. So what I'm gonna do first is to have an ID of the task, so we can call the specific task, and then in the specific task we're gonna call the ID of the task, and then from that we can target the edit, so we can target the specific task that we want to. So here I'm gonna say first we're gonna do a def set ID, which is the method, and then end. I will say a task. We're gonna look on the task. We're gonna look on the task ID. So I put params here and then ID. And then here we can target before it is happened. We're gonna put the before action. So what is happening is, once I go to edit, click the edit, and it will go to update, and then I will add the ID of the task, which is this one. So instead of you added this one and the specific method, and then we can use only one at a time. We can reuse and reuse this find params for the task. So here I'm gonna add only, and then I will say, let's say edit, and update. Then later we're gonna use also the destroy, so I'm gonna add now in here. So here we gonna do a update. So what I'm gonna do is, I think to fast track the video, I'm gonna copy paste on what I have in the update on my current. So here, so we have a respond to, and then I says, okay, this is the format. We can just say F on this one is fine too. And then we have blocks, and then I say here, okay, if you have a task update, look on the task params, which is this one. And then what happening here is, oh sorry, this must be a on the update method. And then here I will say, okay, once it's updated, can you render the task project? And then yeah, it will be successful, and if it's not, render again back to edit. So that is all about. So now I'm gonna try to update the task. So let's see if we encounter some issue in here. So I'm gonna refresh this one. So we have now the edit in here, and then I think we still have missing, because when you click in here, it is not calling, because if you're gonna look here in the console, the error it says here is, let's see, So missing template, so it meaning we don't have yet the edit view in the task, inside the task. So we need to create a html.erb inside the task folder. So in here I'm gonna go to the task, and then I will say, hey, I need an edit html.erb. So the error here is you have a missing template. I need the template, or I need the HTML, so I can render that one. So what we're gonna do here, I think, to fast track also, I'm gonna use my other here. So what's happening here is we have a turbo frame tag, and we have a DOM IDs to access the DOM, and then we have an instance variable at task, and then we render the form, or we call again the form inside the task, and then we point at task. So this is what is happening. And then now once we call the edit, I will say, hey, I need to edit this specific task, and then what is gonna happen, it will call to the HTML edit.html.erb, and then inside that it will call the form of the task. So if you're gonna look back in here, and then let's go back, let's refresh, and then I will say click the edit, and then now we can see here that we render the form inside the task. So I'm gonna update here, for instance, update, then I will say on progress, and then update the task. So now here we can see that we still have some issues. So let's find out what it is. So here I have here let me see what is the error. So here we have a undefined method update. So let's look what is happening. Okay, so I think we have an issue in here. So let's see, control 21. So if we're gonna look in here, 21, so we have update, that's correct. Let's see and go here, edit. Oh, this is wrong. So the method will be update. So that's wrong spelling. And then once we refresh, let's see again if we encounter some error. And then here, edit, and then let me yeah. And then here I will say updated, and then I will say on progress. Then once I click update, and then we have again what is the issue in here is, although I think it is working now, but I think we have a minor issue. So the action show could not be found in task controller. So what we're gonna do here is to check what is happening. So it's saying here that the task, so what happening is once we created a task, we're gonna redirect again to the show of the project, but it cannot find in here. So maybe what we can do here is to add only the show method, and then we can say here that we can say I'm gonna add a show in here, and then let's see if we can show. And then here, let's see if it's still gonna throw an error. So we have updated here. I'm gonna do the other one, and then let's try to update, edited, and then let's see here, completed, and then update. So voila, I think it is working now. So we don't have any error, we didn't see any issues. So we have now the edit, and now we need to move on to create a delete functionality. So here we're gonna do gonna go back that later. We're gonna go to the task, and then inside the task we're gonna enable our button that we put. So here we will be adding a method for the delete, and then here we're gonna add a path, which is the specific task. So once we delete it, it's gonna call the specific task, and then at the same time we will add this one, which is the IDs that we are using. So, and that pointing to the task and a specific project. So I'm gonna copy paste this one, and then I'll put in here, let's see the right path. So this is the right path. So we have a show on the project task, yeah, because this is new, this is edit method, and then we go here to the project task, so it will delete the specific task. So here I'm gonna put path, and then now once we click this one, deleted, or delete, and then it will call to the controller. So we need to go to controller, and then we need to add the method which is destroy. So what's gonna happen is we set the ID for the task, and then we added the destroy. So before the destroy is happening, it will set the ID of the task. So what we're gonna do here is to add def destroy, and then end. But I think we need to go to the documentation so you can see exactly the same that we can use. So here in the Hotwire, we can go here, and then let's go to the handbook. And then here, I think it is on the Turbo Stream Live, and then we can search remove. And then here, you can see the remove in the controller. Yeah, so we can use this one. So we already have this one using the task. We put the before actions, and now we will use this one. And then what's gonna happen is we will use the variable or instance variable of the task, and then we will use the destroy object. And then once you click, it will use the turbo stream, and then it will render the turbo stream inside of our task. And then at the same time, it will call the specific task, and then it will send the specific URL that we want to put or to target. So I'm gonna go here, and then I will copy paste this one. So we're gonna change this one as a task, and then I'm gonna do like this, and then I'm gonna change this one as a task. And then we want to go back again to the project. So in show of the project, or the normal in Ruby on Rails, we use show, which is a singular. So we're gonna use a project, so that is redirect. So once we delete, it will go to that directions. And then we're gonna use here path, and then we will say add project. Okay, so let's see in the UI how it is work, and I think we almost done. So I'm gonna create a project 2, for instance, and then so we have a project 2. We're gonna put a task 1, for instance, on progress, and then task 3, for instance, task 2, and then I will say to-do list. And then now we have in here, what we're gonna do is to delete. So if the delete functionality is working, so I'm gonna click delete, and so let's see if it is streaming first. So if it's working properly, so I'm gonna do like this, not work, so we are gonna use it. So I'm gonna click OK. So you can see here that the turbo is working, it is streaming without an error. And then I can delete also. I can say, sorry, I can update, and then I'll say update in here using the edit, and then I'll say completed, and then update task. So I think that was it. So we have a functionality of edit, delete, and then in the next part we're gonna add a chat, or yeah, I think we can use a comment instead of a chat. So once we click on this one, it goes to the informations of the comments, and then in the couple of episodes we're gonna add the user, and then the user can log in and sign up, and then we can use it as a small app. So recap in what we learned. So we added a destroy method using the turbo stream, and then inside the task we added the edit, and of course the delete, which is the destroy. We use the edit, and then we use the task.project, and then inside the project controller we added the task build. We added the task build in here, and then the task, we call the task in here, and then in the show we call the add project at task, and then it automatically call the collections of the tasks in here, and then we put the created at and dash for the ordering. And then we added a form, task form, and then we use the turbo frame tag, and then we call the task, and then we change in this one add task.project instead of I think we used the project, and then we didn't put the instance variable at task, so we used the local variable of task. So yeah, I think that was it for now, and I hope you learn. And so now we have a project, and then we can create a multiple task, and then inside the multiple tasks you can edit, update, you can delete, and then yeah, I think it's working. And then see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.